Monday, Monday.
Can't stand that day.
Washing machine sorted now.
It wasn't that it was... First of all, it was not a pneumatic drill.
It was. I'm telling you, it was like big.
It's because I've got cutlery and crockery in the drying rack. It sits above the washing machine. When the washing machine goes on to fast cycle, it makes a hell of a racket. I've now moved aforementioned washing up rack, and it's spinning away, but you can hardly hear it.
Oh, okay. I can't now, but my goodness me, I was almost worried.
It was loud. It was loud.
No, I mean, I'm not sort of trying to over-exaggerate here, but I believe that you could have measured that spin cycle on the Richter scale. But anyway.
No, it is quite violent. I'll be honest with you. It is a hell of a spin cycle. My clothes come out like...
Your clothes must come out terrified.
They are. That's my socks. My socks come out like that.
Oh, okay. It's what you call a sock shock.
Hey! Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Thanks. Anyway.
Genius.
Welcome along to Monday's program, everybody. This is Men's Radio Station. Unbelievably enough, we're not here to talk about washing machines, I'm sure.
Well, we might be. You don't know. We don't know which way the conversation is going to go. It could be washing machine day.
Do you know what?
Like you got problems. You know, it could be. Who knows?
But I'd like to reassure you that there is a little bit of how can I put it? This show is quite, shall we say, systematic.
Oh,
I think.
No, that's what you. No. That's what you call a nun.
A nun
with a washing machine on her head.
Yeah.
Systematic. I got to say, Emma Webb was online, on stream, everything about 10 to 12. Well done, Em.
10 to 12. Try 11:30.
Wow, she couldn't wait. She can't. She's keen.
We
like that. We like enthusiasm.
We have people on the edge of their seats on this program. Seriously.
Yeah, mostly me. Will it work? Paul Claridge. Hey, any bets? Is he up a ladder? What do you think? Is he up a ladder? Or is he? Where is he? Croydon. He knows how to live, that boy.
Who only knows? I should have said, by the way, that you are listening to Men's Radio Station.
You did.
With him, Russ, Kane, but I didn't get that bit, did I? I never said who we are. We can't take for granted that people know who we are.
No, of course not. Lloyd Beanie. What are the hot points of? Got it. What are the hot points of the day?
See, very good.
Lloydski. That's good. What are the hot points? Hey, he's eating lunch. He's having a meal.
Hey.
Come on, bring it on. Boy Beanie in flying form. It's a 5-star show. Hang on. No, wait a minute. Sen. Is there a brand called 5-star?
Wasn't that the original name for Lucky Gold Star?
That was the name of the Pearsons, wasn't it? That was the case of the Pearsons.
I can't believe we're honestly resorting to talking about washing machines. Seriously.
You brought it up.
Especially
you started this whole avalanche of washing machine gags.
Especially as you and I actually sort of before we got on air today, we were almost quite serious. We
were
nearly behaved ourselves in terms of what we wanted to talk about, because I know from my point of view, I just sort of said that actually no, I didn't. I think it was you who said, Russ, that you
every day we start off air and I pretend to care and I go, hi, how are you, Phil? I don't really care. And as long as it's there, pressing buttons, who gives a shit? And he said, well, you tell me what you said. Hello, Mr. Dave.
He can't hear you, but I'm sure he says hello. I said that I was feeling a bit flat today, and I'm not quite sure why that is. I've got a rough idea, but I'm just feeling a bit, and I'm not sure whether or not there has to be a reason per se. But then you also explained that you're sort of fending off the blues a bit, and I just wondered whether...
Hang on, technical. You're Mr. Tech. Ed Grossman, happy Monday. There's no broadcast on Facebook, sound or vision, and the radio broadcast is almost inaudible. Anybody else finding that? Dave Sleet, thank you so much, by the way, Dave. Thank you for your message. Angela Lee, rain or shine, we are here. Yay!
I have to confess, I don't know why that would be the case, because I have double-checked all of the settings for you, Ed. Yeah. I'm delighted to report that everything does appear to be okay on this end. However, don't forget that you can always, if you want to, have a little listen on either YouTube. Yes, we're live on YouTube. And as if that isn't impressive enough, oh yeah, are you ready? We are also broadcasting live on Twitter.
And now immediately controversy. Lloyd Beanie, it's okay on Facebook. Paul Andrews watching on Facebook, no issues. Yeah, in your face, Ed Grossman. Yeah, in your face.
By the way, I have had to correct one small detail.
Ticker tape. Is the ticker tape going to come across, or is that not going to happen?
I forgot the ticker tape again, but unbelievable. Right, hang on a sec.
What's going on? Don't tell me we've been blocked again, Em. Please don't tell me we've been blocked again.
No, we have not, have we?
I'll faint.
We're checking now. Hold that thought.
No, don't tell me we can't have been blocked for the third time.
I don't see how. Can I just say that I do have to confess I have made a minor adjustment to the radio broadcast. So if you were listening on mensradiostation.com, I do apologize. You may have struggled to hear us a little bit, but that should have been rectified by now. So I'm very sorry about that.
I think what you'll find, Phil, and I'm going out on a limb here, there's a switch that says on, and it has two positions. Up is off. Press it down, it's on. I think that's it. I could be talking out of my posterioso. Right, let's get back. Kimmy Lashmar, Facebook's okay. Great. Martin Allen, finding my Facebook. Yay. Sam Monroe, laugh, 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 says Angela Lee. Marvelous. Ed Grossman, radio's now okay. Facebook, nothing doing. Really? Edward? Anyway, right.
Anyway,
Oh no! One of the accounts is saying restricted again. Jeez.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I hate to tell you, but I think Twitter has gone a little bit skew again. How annoying. Anyway,
all right.
Isn't that delightful? Anyway, don't worry, we will get in touch with our friends at Twitter. I say friends in the loosest possible sense. We'll get in touch with our friends at Twitter and we'll ensure that that is sorted as soon as possible. And we apologize for any inconvenience caused. Now, I was saying before, isn't that the standard message that anyone sends out now? I was saying before, the reason why I was feeling a bit flat is there is actually something that occurred to me yesterday, Russ. I wondered whether or not, if you've ever been in a similar situation where you realize, you have a sort of a realization sets in terms of what actually happened to you, and it affects you about 24 hours later. In other words, you sort of take a little while to absorb what's occurred. Anyway,
this isn't about your haircut, is it?
No, it's not.
Okay.
Not about my haircut.
Anyway, putting it out there.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, really boring story for you. We were finishing off a little bit of landscaping in the front garden this weekend, just gone. That's not.
What happened to the flamingos? Did you put them down or did you save them?
Oh, the flamingos. No, sadly, we had to get them rehomed. But
because there was always the talk of Hertfordshire when you walk up and the zebra were just going across your front path. Beautiful.
I know. It was a shame. It was nice, but unfortunately, they just
ornamental pond with the alligators and the frogs and the lilies. Beautiful.
They just didn't go with the decor anymore, sadly. I mean, we tried to spray them, and then the RSPCA got involved.
And then your mum got a new handbag.
Oh, do you know what? Anyway, what happened was that we were landscaping the front garden, finished all of that off, and we managed to go through about, you ready for this? I reckon about 20 to 30 bags of rubble. Okay, so really dug up.
Hiya, Barney. Oh, sorry, go on.
Oh, I see what you did there. That was a reference to Flintstone. So anyway, we managed to go through about 20 to 30 bags of rubble. My father and I decided that we had to go and obviously get rid of this, but we took this to the local recycling centre, which happens to have, by the way, a rubble skip. So you can actually put stuff in there. What we didn't realise is that there is a limit as to the number of bags that you can do. Now, I'm not being funny, bearing in mind that we only dug up a really small section of the front garden. We didn't really think that we were taking the proverbial with what we were doing, but evidently we were. So as we were offloading the second car journey with bags of rubble, this bloke came up to us, who clearly was the manager of the waste site, and said to us, how many bags you got in there? So we explained how many we got. He said, no, you've already been here once today. You're not doing that. Said there's a limit. He said X number in 30 days. I said,
How does that work?
X number in 30 days. What, you got my number? Anyway, well, I tried to explain to him. I said, well, look, I make a deal with you. We won't come back here for 60 days if you don't say another thing. Anyway, that wasn't washing very well. Yeah, I know. It didn't happen. And then to top it all off, he started... No, but he started turning a bit nasty, to tell you the truth. He started recording on the camera phone. Started recording on the camera phone. Then he said, right, you can offload what's in the boot. And I said, what exactly would you like to do with the rest of the stuff that's in the car? He said, you've got to take it away with you. I said, do what with it? And he said, not my problem. My father was very calmly trying to explain. I was not calm, let me
I
straight.
think your father was extra calm when he brought out his Walther PPK, pointed at his head and said, I'm unloading the car. Do we have an understanding? That would be my approach. Just me.
But he started explaining what we're doing. And this is where I really sort of wanted to get annoyed with this chap. Because my father was saying that we only just dug up a small area of the garden. This bloke started saying, I don't care what you've done. Go away. You know, you've got to take this away with you. So I just said, and what exactly are you going to do if we don't? And he said, I'll call. And so he said, I'll call the police. Sorry. Sorry, on what charge? What exactly is my charge here? Anyway, so and
digging up garden offences against the state.
You've hit the nail on the head. I said exactly the same thing. It is no wonder so many people fly tip.
Of course.
It's absolutely no wonder if this is how they behave. Anyway, so I said that I explained to this chap that is he really going to waste the time and resource of the police who are already overstretched by calling them? And he said, well, you're wasting my time.
What was he doing? Was he a Emeritus Professor at Oxford?
I have no idea, but I did turn to him, and maybe I shouldn't have done. But I have to tell you, you're quite lucky.
Did you just get out and use your MMA skills? You are the Ronda Rousey of
oh my goodness! No, but this was the other thing he kept doing. He kept walking right up to us, and he wasn't wearing a mask or anything like that.
Well, and I'd have phoned the police then, you see.
I said, you stand back right now. There is a coronavirus pandemic on, in case you hadn't noticed. We know there is, so what you're doing here? What do you think we're doing?
Let's just understand this logic. We know there is, so what are you doing here? It's a recycling centre.
No, I know that there wasn't really very much in the way of logic going on there. Anyway, the upshot is that at the end of the whole ordeal, when he said that you're wasting my time, I stormed off and I said, yeah, your time's not worth wasting. And I got back in the car. Now, I know I shouldn't have done that. That was out of aggression. But even so, it could have been a lot worse. So we drove off. And I thought about it afterwards. And it was just a really unpleasant experience, you know. And I wonder if that's why I'm a bit flat today.
Now, we went to, was he Welsh? Sen. Why would it be Welsh? There were no sheep involved in this story. Lloyd Beanie thinks this sounds like Alice's Restaurant, which was, what was it? Arlo Guthrie, wasn't it? Woody Guthrie's son. Now, we had a load of stuff to get rid of and being good citizens. Loaded up the car and moved to Beverly. So we went round to the local thing, which said it was open. It was a huge recycling centre, Danmar Manor. Get there, it's empty, right? It's empty. There's one other car there. So I go, hello, because I always go there. I go there, get rid of my rubbish in a proper citizen-like manner. No, you can't come in. You got a permit. I said, what do you mean? Have I got a permit? I live here. Look, here's my address. No. Have you got to have a permit? I said, why have I got to have a permit? Because of coronavirus. I said, there's nobody here. I said, there's you. There's one. This place is gigantic. It's like Brent Cross size. This is not some little tiny place. It's huge. And it's all under, imagine a gigantic shed about 5 stories high. It's really massive. And you got a long ramp for a few hundred yards and all the rest of it. I said, but there's only us here. Why can't you let me in and we can get rid of it? No. You got to get a permit. I said, but why? Well, you got to have permission. I said, for what? This is a recycling centre. I'm recycling. There's nobody behind me. There's no one in front. Can't you just let us in? No. And I thought, you know what? It's just not worth it. Just hopeless. No, but Chris, put it in dustbins. But Chris, it should have been recycled.
But Chrissy raises the point that I ended up thinking of, and it was really strange how there was just a raft of emotions and thinking about this. And what happened is that afterwards I ended up feeling a bit sorry for him, not in front of him, obviously, because I realized that that's as good as it gets. So if he manages the waste site, where does he go from there? And I'm not disrespectful. I think it could wrong.
Place Chris Whitty. I don't know.
Can I just say?
I'm not in charge of the whole world. I'm just in charge of little bits.
He said that, not me. Anyway, look, the point is that I did feel a bit sorry for him because I thought, wow, that's a good lunch. So the reason why he was so protective is because that's his domain
Yeah,
That's what he's in
that's right.
charge of,
Yeah.
and that's as good as it gets. I mean, there is no only way is up, because there ain't no up from there. And I thought that was quite sad, thinking about it. But actually, obviously I recognize it is a very important job all the same. Can I just say,
the thing about fly tipping is disgusting. You're driving along and you see on the verge like mattresses and all that. But if you're going to make it really sodding difficult, this is the inevitable result. The idea, make it as simple as possible, and people will come. If you build it, he will come.
and is there not an irony in that the council only end up having to pay a fortune dealing with the fly tipping anyway? So if it's a cost-saving exercise to try and limit the amount of stuff that one brings into a recycle centre.
It's like coronavirus, right? There's many areas where you got to be really careful, and I'm like super careful. You're careful. I'm like super careful for a variety of reasons. But in a recycling place, what? You're in a huge open space. What can possibly happen? You're not going to go up to the person next to you and go, "Oh, nice sofa." You're not. You're not. So what is the hoo-ha with it? Stop making life difficult. Just make it simple. You go to the recycle. If you're going to ask people to load their car and slap all this crap to a recycling center, make it easy. Right. Message here. This is from our radio chum Paul Claridge. Russ, no, I'm not up a ladder. I'm in a pub in Croydon. Will immediately have my commiserations. Having lunch before I start work. No, I'm not drinking alcohol. Now look at this. This is such a horrible little snapshot of life from Paul Claridge. I look forward to serving the good people of East Croydon with their daily free newspaper. Free is the word. Last week, some of the less good people spat at me, threatened me. One tried to throw beer over me but missed, all because I offered them a free paper. But that's nothing compared to the abuse my friends working at the gates inside the station get throughout their shifts. How disgusting is that? Paul Claridge doing the best that he can, a man who has survived cancer that was appalling, his case. All right, let's leave it at that. He's come out the other side. He's giving out free papers. Rain, wind, sunshine, whatever. He's there, right? It's free. And why would you spit at somebody? What is inside your head that you would spit at somebody? Why would you swear at somebody? All you have to do is, the rudest is, or you could say, no, thank you. Is that going to kill you? What is it with people? I honestly think this planet is divided up. This country is divided. I think at night, I'm convinced of this. A UFO lands secretly and it dumps all the shittiest, lousiest people on the planet moron, galaxies away, and it dumps them like we're the recycling. I don't think they're from our planet. That's my theory. That's why this country is so divided, because you've got people from this planet doing their best and people from the planet moron who have just been thrown off their own planet. They're sent to exile on Earth. That's my theory.
Paul Andrews says, "Oh, crumbs have disappeared. Hang on. Right, hang on, Russ. Look over. There we are. Hello, we're over here. Okay, we behind here." Paul Andrews says, "Phil, I think that might be, a little bit unfair. That's as good as it gets. Yeah, all right, fine." He said, yes. He says, yes. He sounds like a bit of a. I won't read that out, but you can see the comments very clearly. But we don't know anything else about him. He may have been a cruise ship pianist, believe me, he wasn't, who had to take the new job because of COVID. Extreme example, but highlights the fact that we don't know anything about this guy and his day. And you're absolutely right.
Paul, I'm sorry.
But that doesn't excuse him.
You're right, but it's no excuse. All right, I really feel strongly about this, right? We don't know about other people, so we shouldn't always comment. Quite right. His mum might have died last week. You don't know. However, if you're paid to do a job, it is not our problem what's happening in your private life. When you're at work, you're at work. And part of your job is outward face. If you're going to be outward facing to customers or clients, it is not our problem that you've got issues. Your job is to do whatever your job is to do. That's what you're being paid to do. There is no necessity, no matter what your circumstances, to be rude.
The upshot is
unless it was Bobby Crush. Was it Bobby Crush?
I don't believe so. The upshot is
they're going side saddle, diddle din, diddle din, diddle 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 din.
No, I don't think so. But look, the upshot is that he could have been a little more courteous in the way that he spoke to my father and I. Okay, I know that that's a bit petty. I know that it's a bit extreme.
How old's your dad? Your dad's not 25. It's your dad. He's a man of certain years. A little bit of respect would have been nice. Yeah. Paul's coming back. No, I agree. It's an excuse. It's not an excuse, but it's unfair to say that's as good as it gets for him in his life. Can't disagree with you.
I don't disagree, but
possibly
I strongly
Paul, what would be his career path?
I strongly suspect that is the case, based on the job he appears to be doing, based on his attitude towards others, and frankly, based on his lack of decorum and based on his lack of any ability whatsoever just to connect with other humans. There was no need to escalate it in quite the way that he did.
Oh, this isn't good. This is going to go and make... Hello, Martin Bell. This is from my cousin Francine. What's the logic of keying swastikas on the side of a friend's car? Jesus Christ. Here we go. Here we go. Franny, there's no logic. It's disgusting crap done by little shitty morons.
Russ, I've got good news for you. Martin Bell wishes you a good afternoon.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
What about Phil? Are you wishing Phil a good afternoon? Just me. Phil can have a shit afternoon. I'm going to have a good afternoon. How does that work, Martin? Come on, Martin.
Look, Paul, don't misunderstand me. Okay, it was anger, heat of the moment stuff. The point is that there have been ramifications of that little incident, and it's made me feel a bit flat because I don't care very much for confronting people over something so trivial. If it was major, if there was some sort of hideous breaking of the law going on, whatever it is, and maybe it is breaking the law, I don't know, but there are ways and means, and it's
Here's the thing, really Phil. What's the worst? Was it crowded? Was it busy?
Not really.
He goes, dump it off. Job's finished. What's going to happen? The world's still going to keep turning. A little bit of elasticity is a nice thing. Ken Elm Janula, you player. I've got to do it like this today. Player. He's not a player. He's a player. Go on, read it out, Phil.
Oh, Ken Elm, we're sorry. He says, despite all your problems with jumped up jobs worths, you all had a better weekend than I did after a root canal on Friday. Dentists.
What time was his appointment?
Oh, my God. Ken Elm, you were going to be there. Oh, wow. I missed Sen's barbecue as a result. Sorry, Sen Monroe. I will buy you lunch when I can eat properly again. Oh, I'm sorry, Ken Elm.
That'll be next year. Ken Elm, we can keep this going for some time. You can avoid buying Sen lunch for months. Leave it with me.
Wow. I don't know whether or not we're going down this.
The Chrissy Holt thing.
But yeah.
What I'd like to do, let's hold the Chrissy Holt comment for a minute, Chrissy, just because it's going to open a monstrous can of worms. I want to, because we center on mental health and well-being, I want to come back to Phil's point. Let's forget the circumstance for a sec and just look at the fact that Phil and I've been struggling recently. I know. I started yesterday. I don't know. I thought the black dog was going to come back. I thought, no, you can start off. I'm not going to have it. And I just did some nice things and felt better. And then Phil this morning said, I feel flat. So if this triggered it, this incident, which in the great scheme of life is infinitesimally small and stupid and petty and who cares, in Phil's life and Phil's dad's life. So they'll go in 30 days or whatever they're going to do. It's solvable. It's all a question, when it comes to mental health, and you think, well, what's going to trigger this? And it's a question of letting go, isn't it? It's like when you're driving along and somebody, and I've used this analogy before, and it's happened to all of us. You're driving along, you mind your own business, and somebody gives you the finger, right? They flip you the bird, and you get on. And I used to, and then I thought, you know what? That's ridiculous. They don't remember me. 30 seconds after they've driven past up the old Kent Road or wherever it is. Their day is unaffected. So I've got a choice. We have a choice. You can let some idiot flipping you the bird or yelling out something rude out of their car window affect you, or you can just forget it. And my view is, I don't let it burn me up anymore. It used to drive me nuts. And then years ago, I thought, no. I'm not letting them have that power over me. It's a choice. So I ignore it. I just forget it. And, I won't let it. I will not let crap like that spoil my day. Because they have no influence over me. I don't know them. I'm never going to meet them. Screw them. Not going to happen. And that's the attitude. And it's so difficult to keep a handle on this. You never know what is the stupid match or the spark that's going to go boom on the powder keg, which we're all sitting on emotionally. These last 5 months have been freaking ridiculous. It's pushing everybody to the limit. And let's not pretend it's not. It is. It's making everybody feel, like we're all going around the bend. So we're all struggling. We're all doing our very, very best mentally. And so it's really important, and I'm kind of addressing it generally, but to Phil, to not let the stupid stuff, the insignificant stuff get to you. It's very hard because everyone's emotions are heightened. Everyone's extra sensitive. If I had swastikas keyed on my car, mind you, I would just search the area with a baseball bat. I didn't care because they're never going to find them. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. What would you do if you put what would happen if you put the crescent, the moon and the crescent, or the star and the crescent? Like, what would happen? Jeez, be the end of the world. Simon Buckman, before I forget, Suzanne Curtis asked me to send you her regards. Thank you.
Paul Andrews says, at the end of the day, being kind is the best option. The guy at the dump was a so-and-so, let's go with.
Yep.
But you can't let him ruin your week. If he had been kind, his day would have been better, and so would yours. But he wasn't. But you can be. Paul, I know it. I promise you. I absolutely recognize you are absolutely right in everything you say. However, unfortunately, that once in a while you do stumble across people who do just affect you. And I don't know why. I don't know why I let him, because I think it's so foreign to me. That is absolutely not my style. So yes, I can be cutting when I want to and give as good as I get.
You think?
No, I know, but I give as good as I get. And I certainly don't appreciate people who act in a certain way towards me. But look, the point is, we are all but sponges emotionally. And once in a while, there will be occasions where people say things, and I don't care about the whole notion of sticks and stones. Words can blooming hurt as well,
They do hurt. Of course they hurt. Some sayings are just complete rubbish, aren't they? Sticks and stones can break my bones, but words can never harm me. Bullshit. Of course they can hurt you. It's just rubbish. It's just absolutely not true. It's never been true. It's just a nonsense.
Oh my God.
Sam Monroe says, possibly you're feeling flat because you went to his barbecue.
Not at all. Highlight of the weekend, I promise you.
You see, now this was people growing up. Sen had this big do over the weekend, Sen Monroe, and I thought about it long and hard, and I wrote at length to him, said, I'm not going to come, and these are the reasons why. I don't like you. No, I didn't say that. It's for my own health and safety. And some people I know in all this craziness would have taken the credit. That's it. And Sen totally understood. That's what grown-up people do. They respect other people's views and go, that's your opinion. That's absolutely your right. And, Sen and I will meet up subsequently in a situation that I feel is safe. Probably nothing would have happened, but I wasn't going to take the chance when I've been so scrupulously careful. That's just me. Phil took another view and popped along and had a very nice time. It looked great, but there you go. And that's a tiny little microcosm of how we are. It is perfectly okay to have a point of view that differs from somebody else, and you go, okay, I appreciate that. And you walk away and you're still friends. That's fine.
Might I suggest it was very exciting because I had never had coleslaw with a side of rainwater before. Now, Paul Claridge, he's gone on to say Paul Clarence has gone on to say that I had a root canal treatment a few years ago. Oh my God, Arcane.
Jesus Christ, Paul, what's the matter with you? Are you mad? Did the dentist even going, is it safe? Is it safe?
Oh my God. Sorry, I'm just a bit shocked here. Without any anesthetic and without pain relief of any type. Sorry. The tooth is dead and my amazing dentist won't give drugs which aren't really needed. The nerve-wracking bit is when he prodded the tooth with a needle. What's dead? Ooh. I mean, you were quite high up in my estimation anyway, but you've gone even higher now. Good luck. You're just a top man. Wow. Martin Allen says, and I think you're spot on, Martin. He says, Phil, your buttons and the right ones by the sound of it. Yeah, maybe. But what can I say?
Yes, Sen, it was a bit odd, but it was very kind of you to provide full hazmat suits for everyone who attended your barbecue. Well done. I thought that was a very nice move. Are we going to do Chrissy? I don't know what we're going to do about Chrissy Holt's thing. I don't like censoring.
No, but this is obviously how Chrissy feels, and I think this is what we're here for. So why not? Indeed, it's not necessarily what we think.
I'm going to say this. I never say this, but I want you to know this is Chrissy's opinion. It is not the opinion of Men's Radio, and it's not the opinion of me and Phil. It's an opinion of one of our most loyal and delightful listeners. I'm not being sarcastic. She's great and she's incredibly loyal and she listens every day. So we like her a lot.
Chrissy says, I'm incensed today. My friend sent me a video of lots of asylum seekers being put up in Bromsgrove Spa Hotel for free in luxury rooms at the cost of the taxpayer, all very well dressed. Waiting for houses. What about our homeless and veterans who are on the street, no help whatsoever? Too many do-goodestone and political correctness. No wonder there is racism. Makes me feel that way. I'm afraid. Okay, and she doesn't mean she's afraid. She's sort of saying, unfortunately, that's how it makes her feel. Right, Chrissy, I think it is time to be honest and upfront. I know quite a few people who think the same way. Truly, I do. But I don't think that anyone can ever say, no wonder there is racism, because you can't ever justify it, surely. And I don't think, by the way, I'm not suggesting you are. I promise I'm not suggesting you are. But the point is, I don't think there is an excuse for it, but it just makes it, what is quite telling is it obviously makes people that angry that that's what they resort to. Lowest possible jibe, and a very easy jibe for a lot of people, is based on their appearance. So if they definitely appear to be different to you or to one, then that's kind of why people think it's an easy target, because if you're attacking the heritage, well, what could be more hurtful than that? Now, I don't excuse it, but I can understand why people get very upset when there is clearly a major problem with homelessness in this country. And then there are people who seem to get priority treatment. Now, I don't know the facts and figures of that. It appears that way, but I don't know it for sure. Furthermore, I'm not actually completely convinced that it should be a competition. I'm not suggesting that just because someone's trying to seek asylum, that they're any less deserving of a roof over their head than someone who's on the streets who maybe is a veteran who's homeless. The upshot is there are loads of people who need help and shouldn't necessarily be pitting them off against each other by saying that just because someone is receiving the help that probably most people in that situation should get, that someone who is not receiving that kind of treatment and that help, it's a disgrace that it's happening in the first place. Do you see what I mean? I don't really sort of recognize that as being, I think the problem is that the treatment should be for all if you're going to do it, not just one or the other.
Chrissy's come back and said, no, I don't justify it, but things like this doesn't help. You're right, doesn't help. If they genuinely need help, that's okay. Because now,
and that I agree with.
It's not like a competition. Look, let's be adults about it. It's not a competition who's got the shittiest life and you go to the top of the list. It doesn't happen like that. You don't know what they're running away from. God knows. You dread to think. Although I do wonder when you see all these dinghies and rubber boats. It's all blokes. It all seems to be the vast majority of blokes of a certain age. I don't see the children. I don't see the babies. I don't see the mothers. I don't see the fathers. I don't see the grandparents. I just see these young guys. Maybe that's not the case, but that's what seems to be what is filmed. I'll leave it there.
And of course, okay, we could say as well, potentially, that if that is the case, it may just be survival of the fittest. Like you said, you don't know what they're running from.
We don't know what they're running from, but what they've left the wives and grandparents and everybody else behind.
No, that's assuming the wives, the grandparents, or what have you, have survived whatever they've left behind.
Well, you don't know. We don't know where it's from. You don't know the back. You don't know the backstory. So, but it ain't going to be good. It just seems extraordinary. It's like, it's like with life in any country. There's never enough money. We haven't got enough money for nurses. We haven't got enough for hospitals. Can't pay the teachers more. Can't pay medical staff more. Oh, we've got a war on. Always enough money for that. I know it's not that simple, but it's true. We've got to close libraries. We've got to make teaching classes enormous, but there's a war on. Hey, suddenly there's billions of pounds or billions of dollars available. It's a miracle, isn't it? Was it down the back of the sofa? Come on. So it's like, so to use that analogy just for a second, which I know is very simplistic. I know that life isn't like people housing. And somebody arrives in a rubber boat and suddenly they got housing. How is that possible? And how is that fair? That's all I'm saying. How is that fair? Where's the logic in that?
No, there is.
I'm not saying they should be left on the beach and, or shot or something or blown up by the Navy. I'm not saying any of that nonsense. I'm just saying explain the logic to me. Why does these places suddenly become available?
Ramsey makes a very valid point, which is kind of where I was going with this. Isn't the issue that the government should look after mentally ill and homeless people? We live in a housing estate that used to be a mental health hospital. Wow, goodness.
Wow.
The policy became care in the community.
Yeah.
We take care of such people, even if it means building additional homes or care hospitals. As Russ says, we always find money to fight a war. It's that magic money tree again. Well, I mean,
it's billions and billions of pounds.
The magic money tree has been used very, very recently. Look at everything that's going on with COVID. Suddenly we've got money to burn with COVID.
Amazing, isn't it? Simon Button making a good point. Potentially, the Syrian guys are generally sent away by their families to prevent ISIS and Daesh conscripting them. Glacier Mandarin, in the past, there have been many photos of women and babies in boats. I kind of disagree with that. I mean, I've seen some, but not many. But it's so dangerous. Agree, maybe it's the survival of the fittest. Here we go. Kenam Janur, did anyone else see the report showing that 2/3 of the child refugees arriving in the UK turned out to be men in their 20s after medicals? Some of them got places in schools with our children. What, in their 20s? Wouldn't the teacher say, "You look a bit old, Terry"? Oh, man. Now, there is a very good point here, going back to the conversation. It's a very interesting conversation today. This is from Ramsey Y. Musalam, who's, again, he and I write to each other a lot. Disagree with Russ. I think you got the wrong end of the stick here. Disagree with Russ, re sticks and stones. I said sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can never harm me. Well, they can. For many, it's a way of dealing with the situation. When I was at school, I decided that being called I'm not going to say the word, begins with P, wouldn't hurt me. Well, that is one hell of a thing to be able to do. That is amazing. That said, I know some lovely people who have body dysmorphia issues because of comments from other people which they took to heart. It takes a very, very big person with a very strong mind to be able to say these words are not going to hurt me. Especially at school, you're vulnerable, you're exposed, and school, trust me, I was sent to boarding school at 9. That's where I learned to survive, because it was freaking brutal in every way you could possibly imagine. So for Ramsey, for you to say, they can call me the P word, sod it, I'm not letting it affect me, is a testament to you. I don't know you personally, but it's a great testament to you. But as you rightly said in the rest of the comment, people can make comments and it affects you. I know people who get so affected by it. body dysmorphia is just one. It's so easy to make people, how easy is it? We've all had this, where you feel incompetent or you feel stupid because someone, instead of being helpful, has just been rude and made disparaging comments. How many times? You know? I never play sport because of what happened to me at school. That's the only thing I carry with me from school. I never, ever play sport. Never have. Because I was so mocked instead of being encouraged. You know? A little bit of encouragement and kindness. I hate saying be kind, but try. You know, it doesn't kill you, does it?
Well, I hate to say it, but that's kind of the point. It doesn't kill the person who should be kinder, but it's not unheard of for it to lead to those who they're not being kind to take their lives. So
you see, here we go. It's an interesting thing. We've got diametrically opposite opinions kind of thing. Melanie Hutchins, I live on the southeast coast, and the numbers coming in are higher than being reported. The helicopter and Coast Guard are out many times a day. And then Glassy Amanda, who's a very interesting person. I used to work with teenage refugees who had escaped the most horrific circumstances after being child soldiers. Think child soldiers. You know, if ever there were two words that should never, ever be put together in any sentence, childhood should be a lovely thing. It should be full of happy memories. You shouldn't have an AK-47 shoved in your hand and told to kill people. I mean, that's what they do. It's mental. It's absolutely mental.
Ramsey says confidence is such an issue. He says that I find Americans very confident people, and perhaps they have lower rates of mental health issues. Well, do you know what? I don't think it's just that. I tell you what I also think the reason why Americans probably have, or arguably have, lower rates of mental health issues is because they're actually quite open about it. So with them, they are quite emotional. Men and women are very, very emotional in America across the board. You know, they're a bit over enthusiastic when it comes to something being funny, and they're also a bit over enthusiastic.
That's really good when I do my show in Los Angeles. I love it. They're over enthusiastic. Works for me.
About something being very sad, so they're not afraid to show emotion. And furthermore, also the notion of having a psychiatrist on speed dial is actually normal there.
Oh yeah, it is. Everyone knows there's got a therapist.
A lot of people have therapists on speed dial, as in like they have a great open working relationship with therapists, and it seems to make a massive difference.
Well, it's nothing to be sneered at. You know, it's a very sniffy attitude. I just want to mention my cousin. My cousin here, who's the lovely. She's really like my sister. I mean, she is my cousin because her late mum and my late dad were brother and sister. But you know, we're exceptionally close. And you know, I don't have any brothers or sisters, but I was thinking of her as like my sister. But many years ago, I was told that I should, God, Francie, that I should get a makeover. To this day, it still upsets me. Well, get Michael to go around and just punch him. You feel better.
I mean, you'll have to help him find the perpetrator first.
No, you got to first of all, Fran, you got to help him find his glasses. Then you got to find him in the house, because that can go on for 20 minutes. You think they lived in Downton Abbey? They live in Mill Hill. He can never find her in the house. It's a running family gag. Oh, jeez. Chrissy Holt, I don't know. It's a tech thing. I don't know. Have you pressed comments on the right, not private chat? On the comments section, you got two things. One says private chat, one says comments. Press the thing on the right, which says comments. Everything should come up. LA and New York City are not an accurate reflection of America as a whole. Quite right, Simon. It's not at all. It's what everyone forgets. What they call the flyover states is where the majority of Americans live. Fran. Yes, all of that.
Susan says, I worked in social care where we found a quarter of the, quote, teenagers placed in foster care were adult males. It was difficult to prove age sometimes, and younger children in the placements were abused by them on occasion.
You see, if this was me, I'm sorry, I'm just going to come out and say it. If you're there under false pretenses, you're out. If you're pretending to be a child and you're not a child, get out. If you're in with other teenagers and you're not a teenager, get out. This is how it should be. It should be simple. It can't be that hard to prove age. You know what people look like. It's not rocket salad.
Glassy Amanda says, if you don't have a therapist in the USA, it's unusual. Love their openness with it and their enthusiasm for applauding themselves as well. Yes, within reason, though. But I have to tell you, if you've watched enough episodes of Family Feud, which of course over here we call Family Fortunes, where you've got all of the other members of the family when they've been asked, we asked 100 people to name a color of a sock, and then they would sort of come around and say red, and then they go around, yeah, good answer, good. I'm sorry, that takes it a little bit too far. For me,
however,
that's a bit unpleasant.
However, what I do admire about America, and I do bang on about this because I can't see why it's so different. You know, I lived over there for 3 years, loved it, and I go there. Well, I used to go there as much as I could, and you know, a lot of the homes have got the American flag, the Stars and Stripes, flying outside in the flagpole. Nothing wrong with being patriotic. Doesn't mean you're a Nazi. Just means you love your country. You love your country. What's wrong with that? It's okay to love your country. It's okay.
Russell, it absolutely means it. If you're in this country and you're patriotic, how dare you be so? You've probably heard this latest thing today about the fact that they're trying to ban. Last night, the Proms are trying to ban.
They should defund the BBC immediately. I've said this. I've been banging on about this for ages. The BBC should not have its license fee anymore. It's lost its ethos. It is not in touch with the audience anymore, and it's enough's enough. It's disgraceful. It's disgraceful.
I think in regards to homelessness, you should interview my lovely friend Michelle. She created and runs the charity Dogs on the Street. They aren't a huge faceless charity. They are actually out there 24/7 helping the homeless and their animals. Love this. Michelle herself is often out and about at all times of day and night helping people, getting them urgent care, getting them into hospital, sorting out vet care, and in some cases, holding someone's hand as they... Oh my God, I did not expect that comment. I'm so sorry, right? I was reading that very nonchalantly, but I actually I actually didn't realize what the rest was there. So she apparently even holds their hand as they possibly pass away. Good Lord. That's unbelievable. Wow.
Because, you know, just to dive straight in, I think everyone's greatest fear is not dying, because that's all going to happen to everybody. Dying alone. Jeez.
Can I just say, actually, Paul's message actually goes on a little bit further. Sorry, I missed a little bit here. He says, as they pass away, just so they aren't alone. Yeah. She goes on to say, I've been to several funerals of homeless people with Michelle and her team. Homelessness isn't a simple fix. Each case is different. Yes, the government should do more to help, but don't blame refugees. No, and that's exactly what I was saying before, Paul, honestly, is my point was, I don't think it should be a competition. I don't think it should be a case of just because someone is seeking asylum, that because they actually get the treatment that those who are homeless probably should be getting as well, not one or the other. That was kind of my point that I was making.
Not neither or, is it? It doesn't have to be an either or.
But I do also believe that there needs to be a tougher stance when people are found out to be fraudulent. I really believe that, because otherwise it makes a mockery of the whole thing. And that's not right either. But anyway, he says, don't blame refugees. There are, in many cases, escaping utter horror in their own countries. They see the possibility of a better life here. We are all humans. Let's show some humanity and be kind to those who seek to better their lives, as long as they haven't committed some heinous crime. Michelle shows unconditional love and kindness to those on the streets, no matter where they are from, no matter what color, race, or religion. I like the sound of Michelle.
Paul, let's get Michelle on the show. Let's get her on. I mean, not today, but Paul, you know how to get hold of us. Try and fix it up, and let's get Michelle on the show and talk to her. Glassy Amanda, Michelle is an angel. What a beautiful gift she's giving to those who have nothing. Totally. Isn't it terrible? This is the way I think. And I'm really honest. When I see homeless people with a dog, I know this is a shocking thing. My heart goes out to the dog.
Yes, ditto.
I know it's illogical. It's a dog versus a human being, but I think, what life has the dog got? So what I used to do before I stopped going to the big supermarkets, because I won't do it anymore, especially I used to shop very late at night because of my stupid sleep patterns. So I'd be there at like midnight or 11:30 or something because it's empty, and there'd always be someone outside. This young girl with a dog. I'd get all the dog treats. I'd buy her a sandwich. Right, I buy her a sandwich and a drink, like a Coke or something, and then I'd fill up the bag with dog treats.
And might I suggest,
What can I tell you? I know that's how my mind works. I'm sorry.
Might I suggest, Russ, therein lies the very reason that a lot of people who are on the streets do adopt dogs. Is I think there are a number of factors behind it. But would you have really bought that person on the street a sandwich had they not have had the dog? The answer is probably not.
Well, no, I've done that before. I'll tell you, in the days before lockdown, anybody remember those when we had a life? You've probably forgotten. I have. And I used to be going in, so I'd get out at Green Park Station to catch the bus down to Soho and Piccadilly. Or if I was going to see Penny and Howard at the German Street Theatre, I'd get, if I wasn't going to walk up Regent Street, I'd, get the bus or whatever. So I'd get out at Green Park Station, and I'd seen this guy before. He was like, so I started talking to him, and because I did, he's a human, and he was a former soldier, apparently. I don't know, but he says he was a former soldier. Who do I know? So I said, let me get you something. So I walk into, I said, hang on a minute. So I walk into Pret a Manger and I get him a couple of sandwiches and a coffee. I hand him, this is Britain for you. I hand him the sandwiches and the coffee. He went, I wanted a cappuccino. I cracked up. It was just great. I wanted a cappuccino. I'm so sorry.
And there is an expression that
made me laugh. That's human nature. That is human. That's British humour, and that's human nature, isn't it?
There's most definitely an expression that springs to mind, which I won't say because obviously it's borderline offensive. However, there is also another occasion when it happened. Something very similar happened to me, where I was walking down Great Portland Street. I'd been to a fish and chips restaurant, and I had, in typical British fish and chips style, the portion size was completely and utterly astronomical. It was borderline American with the number of chips and fish that they gave. Anyway, I couldn't eat all of it. So I decided I was going to take the rest home with me, but I wasn't going to take it all the way home because to me, there was no point. I don't actually like reheating fish and chips because I don't believe it's the most sensible or hygienic thing to do. So I said I was going to give it to somebody. Obviously I trimmed off the bits that I'd eaten or what have you. But the point is I'd sort of given half of the fish and chips meal to someone who was homeless. And I went up to I found this chap who was sitting just outside Great Portland Street Station. Mm-hmm. And I went up to go and hand this to him. And I said, excuse me, this is absolutely fine. It's leftovers, which has been cleaned of anything. I said, but I can't eat it. It's just too much for me. Would you like it? And he said, oh, thanks very much. So he took the bag and he said, yeah, I don't actually like fish and chips, but I know loads of people who have it. Wait, what? I don't like fish and chips. I know people who have it. Why did you say yes to it then?
Because he's going to give it to people who will like it.
I could have given it, but I would, of course, I would have given it to somebody else if you'd have said no, thank you. An extraordinary thing to do. I don't know where it ended up. You might have traded it in for a sandwich or something.
You might have been.
Anyway, look.
I don't give money. Somebody just said, Chrissy, I never give money, but give basic food, and I buy the big issue when I can. It's an interesting magazine. I won't give money. If you sit in Soho trying to have a coffee back in the day when you could, it got crazy at night. I remember sitting there once with Ray Gelato, and it got really unpleasant because by that point, these people are drugged off their faces. This is not a generalization. I'm talking about this particular street. What was it, Wardour or Frith or one of them? And at that time of night, they were off their faces. It was really quite threatening. It became a very unpleasant experience. So I won't give money. I won't go and give food because that's it.
Okay, I was with somebody, a mutual contact of ours who also works in the industry. And he and I were going to record a piece I think we were recording at the Magic Circle. Got a feeling that's where we were. Anyway, recording a piece at the Magic Circle. And we got there stupidly early, so we decided we were going to go for lunch first. And we sat out outside Euston Station. I know that's currently being refurbished at the moment, but in the old days, before they'd started refurbishing it, there was actually a little square out there where you could sit out and have food from the various restaurants surrounded it. Anyway, We got some food.
Where is this? Where? In
You know,
Euston Station?
the main
station. The main station.
The main entrance to Euston Station. There's a piazza outside it.
Okay.
Anyway, well, on that piazza, there used to be, before they were doing all the building, there used to be seats and things like that. You could take chairs, you could sit down. Anyway, we were sitting there, and this lady, who was clearly in the most shocking state, came up to us. And when I say shocking state, I mean there's absolutely no point of denying that she was clearly on drugs. Anyway, so she came up and said, "Have you got money or what have you? Can I have some money or what have you?" And I just said what I normally say to people in that situation. I said, "I'm really sorry, I only carry card." And the colleague who I was with, he, on the other hand, did have some money, and he gave her a £5. Now, I said, "I'm really worried that you've done that, because I strongly suspect that money will not go towards food or shelter, based on the state of the way she was, how she was talking. Her eyes looked very, very distant. And I was seriously concerned that, frankly, she was absolutely off her face. And I was worried that was just going to go more straight away on drug money." So anyway.
Is that your concern? Here's a serious question. Is it up to you? Is it up to you to decide if that's right or wrong? Is it, if you give money, is it up to you to decide where that money goes? It's a huge question, by the way. It's not a simple flip question.
It's arguably, it's not up to me. It's up to me what I
see with charity. Send thought. Because I get this now. Oh, I take cards. How come you got a card machine if you're on the street? What? No, that can't possibly be right. Well, you got an iZettle account?
No.
How does that work? No, this is ridiculous. If it's a charity, I want to know where the money if I'm going to give to a charity, and that's why I'm very cautious and very particular. The charities I give to, I want to know where the money's going, because if it's going on your headquarters, if it's going on some ridiculous salary for a chief executive in 6 figures, if it's going on excessive staff, you're not getting my money. If it's going directly to the people that you can help, you'll get my money. You will not get the money to run your charity. You will get the money to help others, but you will not get it. And especially the charities that I know. I was Chief Parker of Variety, what was Variety Club, now Variety Children's Charity. So we see all the accounts from all the other charities. Well, we used to, I'm not part of it anymore. And, a lot of these charities are sitting on millions. They're earning the interest. So often they're only giving the interest that they're earning to the people and the causes.
Glassy Amanda, I totally get why people don't give money and would rather buy food, but I don't think we should judge what people do with that, with what we give them. I give without judgment. But I can't explain it. It's not that I'm judging for it. There was actually a genuine concern there. I was worried that, just supposing that £5 was the £5 that tipped her over the edge. Seriously.
Killed her?
Seriously. How do we know? If that is what and I don't know for sure, but I'm fairly certain that that's where as much the money as possible was going. If that £5 was the one that tipped her over the edge, that's an horrendous thought. I hate the thought of that.
You know what? It doesn't bother me. It just doesn't bother me. Chrissy Holt, let's link 2 of these comments together. Another thing, a lot of them are probably not genuine beggars or homeless. Quite right. And we link that to Sen Munro, who has frontline experience, because although he's now a film script writer and director, when I was a cop, he was quite a senior policeman. I had to arrest one of these chaps who begged for money every day at the same traffic lights. When we brought him in, he had over, wait for it, £300 in pound coins. Yes.
Well, there you go. Now, that's it for today. May I just say,
God, is that it? We're finished?
For all of your comments and for joining in, may I say it's been a particular delight to welcome members of the kindergarten who've been commenting along the way. And we will look forward to seeing you on Wednesday.
Wednesday might have something very. I'm trying to arrange. I haven't even told Phil. I'm trying to arrange something really interesting, extra special for Wednesday. Something quite moving.
Let's do that. Wednesday at midday. Farewell, everyone. Have a good afternoon. Bye bye.